part of a successful lesson plan is the layers to it. So what you want is a lesson plan that will be appropriate, work right successfully for a majority of your students. Let's set that number at, say, 75 to 85%. And you want to be prepared for the groups of students that fall outside of that group. You want to do that ahead of time so that your lesson goes smoothly and so that you will include everybody, because it's these kids not feeling included, not feeling that there's something in this lesson for them, whether it's too simple or it's too complicated. That's where you'll see the behaviors start to disintegrate. So it's surprising how the top students get off task. I've been very surprised when I've observed other classes. I've been very surprised to see the behavior of the top students because they did not find the lesson engaging. So you want to have a layer to your lesson plan that provides ahead of time for something that will draw them into it when they have finished that. Not a busy work thing, nothing that will give them a sense that, oh great, my reward for acing this activity is I have to do more work than the other kids. It needs to seem like a privilege that they get to do this other engaging task, which ideally takes the kernel lesson that's being taught and applies it in an expanded way. The other problem, the more obvious problem, is the ones who are underperformers or they have low skill levels, and what you're dealing with those kids is habituated disengagement behaviors that they bring along, and they surface right away when you have a new class of students. I can see that those behaviors kick in sort of uninvited, like they're just waiting to give up, and they are used to giving up. And I find that when I sit down with those children one-on-one, and I always start by saying, I know you're smart. The funny thing is that all level of students have an area where they feel they get something and other people don't get it. Even if it's just something about them that they know themselves, or they know what they like, or whatever it is, but you want to connect to that smart part of themselves. So your lesson plan, when you design it, needs to have stepping stones for people who aren't bringing the sort of the minimum skills to the task. So, for instance, if you're trying to do something in math that requires the students to already know their multiplication tables, what are you going to do for the ones who don't? Are you going to just say, too bad, so sad, the rest of us are going to learn? Well, you're cutting your own throat if you do that, because those kids are going to haunt you. So, in a case like that, you would provide possibly a calculator or a chart. That might be better. Either they're learning the skills of using a calculator to boost their skill level, or they're learning how to read a multiplication chart. But either way, you're giving them a tool that puts them one step closer to being able to do what the other kids are doing. So, and it has to feel genuine. You can't just give them separate support that kind of brings them along in a fake way that they're not connected to, because that's exhausting for you and in the long run doesn't serve your purposes. So with the 3 layers, always, if every time you teach, you've got those 3 layers going and students become very accustomed to that, they find their group. Now that 75 to 85% group, you can teach pretty efficiently. Those are the ones who don't necessarily want any personal attention. They don't want to stand out. They want to go with the herd and succeed with the herd. So you also, with those upper ones, you want to have ways that they can distinguish themselves, because they will really perform for you if they feel that they are being personally encouraged. That can be pretty efficient too. You just need to have the right tools for them to go charging on to something else. But the time you need to free yourself up for is the ones that need the extra help. So once first of all, you want them to feel at the opening gate of the activity that they're being included and accounted for. Like you could say, okay, I know that not everybody knows their multiplication tables. Don't worry, I planned for that. And you can see them change their body language, like, okay, well, but don't make them wait too long. So you can maybe get the thing started, and maybe there's now some independent work, and then you can go around to the other ones or pull them into a little group and say, okay, now we're going to do it in a way that's helpful for you. I want to make sure that you can succeed too. And students respond well to that. Thank you.